Good day, this is the second topic of our Module 2, and for this video presentation, let us cover the importance and the challenges of the international market. Now before we proceed, I just want to highlight that even this topic is actually belongs to international marketing. I decided to still cover it because it will greatly affect the financial aspect of the multinational corporation. It will also help you to understand how the global finance will be handled considering these importance and challenges in the international market. So in this video presentation, let us explore different importance and challenges of the international market. Let us also cover how these challenges of the international market will be addressed. One of the importance of international market is the increased growth and sales. We have mentioned on our previous video presentation that international financial management has a wider scope of business operation. So it means that if the business organization operates in the international market, it can be able to capture more market than might lead to increasing sales. If the sales of the business is increasing, they can expand and recognize growth. There is also a possibility that the business with a good financial performance will expand their business operations from more international markets. So in the end of the business firms, international market is one of the gateways to have an increased growth sales. Another importance of international market is the increased accessibility. Market access refers to the ability of a company or a country to sell goods and services across borders. Market access is often a negotiation between countries for their mutual benefit, but it may not necessarily result in free trade. International trade involves complex negotiation between two or more governments. So with that, international market provides increased accessibility of products and services that the company could offer to people. So if we will think critically, the organization really needs to increase their accessibility to people, to market, and different factors that can affect their international business for them to achieve the first importance of international market, which is the increased growth and sales. Moreover, the business organization with an operations to international market can be able to access international resources as well that can help their business to achieve the desired competitive advantage. Another importance of international market is the increased availability of capital and labor. If the business operates in the international market, there is a great possibility that the business will attract potential investors across borders. It means kapag ang negosyo ay nag-ooperate sa iba't ibang bansa, they will be having an opportunity to meet investors or businessmen or business partners who will be the source of their capital. They will also having an access to different financial institutions that can help them build up their capital structure for their business. In terms of labor naman, if the business organization is in the international market, labor is also widely available. I would like to set as an example the term brain drain. This is the economic situation where a certain country experience deficiency in experts. Pero kapag ang isang negosyo ay nag-ooperate sa international market, they will be having an access as well as with different experts with different countries where they are operating. So thus, an international market is really a great help for the organization to increase their availability in terms of capital and labor. Another is the development in communication technology. So communications technology, also known as information technology, refers to all the equipment and programs that are used to process and communicate information. International market provides development in communication technology. We all know that international market requires modern technology for the efficient operations, including the communications. In the nature of business operations ng isang multinational firm, it is very important to have a communications technology. This communications technology helps the business firm to have a smooth communication flow. Now, in the business operates in the international market, they need to develop a communication technology. That's why international market opens opportunity to business operates internationally to have this kind of technology. Aside from that, kapag ang isang business ay nasa international market, they will also have an access sa iba't ibang technologies na meron ang bansa kung saan sila nag-ooperate. So, the tendency is that they can acquire this technology for the development of their business. Now, let us discover the different challenges of international market. And one of these challenges of the international market is the foreign laws and regulations. So, bakit nga ba naging challenge sa part ng multinational corporations ang international laws and regulations? It is actually hard to one business organization to consider the different business laws and regulations, but they really need to do is to study and consider these foreign laws for them to achieve the international growth. Some of the foreign laws that multinational corporations need to consider are the following. Number one is the labor and employment law. Each country has distinct regulations pertaining to labor and employment. So the business firm in international market needs to consider those differences. Another one is the international trade compliance, the taxes, payment, finance and exchange controls. Another one is the termination of the business, and among others. So, maraming mga international laws and regulations ang dapat i-consider ng mga multinational corporations, lalo na nag-ooperate sila sa iba't ibang bansa. So, lahat ng mga nabanggit ko ay ang ilan sa mga halimbawa ng mga foreign laws and regulations na nagbibigay ng challenge kapag ang isang business ay nasa isang multinational markets. International accounting is also one of the challenges of international market. Unlike domestic business, the multinational corporations required to comply with accounting principles are being practiced by different countries where the business is located. When we are talking about international accounting, business firms in international market needs to contemplate with a foreign currency translation, foreign exchange risk, international comparison of consolidation accounting, and inflation accounting, and even the performance evaluation of foreign subsidiaries. Like what we have mentioned on our previous presentation, the international financial management requires to maintain the separate book of accounts, and they need to always consider the accounting principles of different countries. Thus, international accounting is considered as one of the challenges of the international market dahil kinakailangan ng organization na maging maayos ang financial record ng company despite of compliance to general accepted accounting principles and international accounting standards. Cost calculation and pricing strategy is one of the challenges as well of international markets. The cost of materials used, for example, in one country is not the same with the other countries. If this is the case, the business will be having a multiple computation of cost based on how many subsidiaries they have. That's why the cost of a specific product of one country will be different as well to the cost of another. In terms of pricing strategy, the business firm should consider different strategies that may fit to the market of their different subsidiaries. Strategic pricing sets as a product's price based on the product's value to the customers, on the competitive strategy rather than on the cost of production. There is an instance that the product's value to Asian countries or Asian customer rather is low than the Americans. Thus, the pricing strategy to be implemented in Asia and America is different. Now, in the end of the multinational corporation, they really need to consider their customers as well as the cost of their resources in order for them to have the best costing computation and pricing strategies na magpipit sa customer's product value. Another challenges of international market is the currency fluctuation. Currency fluctuations are a natural outcomes of the floating exchange rate system which is the norm for most major economies. Kapag sinabi nating floating exchange rate, it is a regime where the currency price of a nation is set by the forex market based on the supply and demand relative to other countries. This is in contrast to the fixed exchange rate in which the government entirely or predominantly determines the rate. A floating exchange rate doesn't mean the countries do not try to intervene and manipulate their currency prices dahil ang ating government at ang ating central bank ay laging nag-a-attempt na mapanatili ang ating currency na favorable sa international trade. So bakit nga ba nila mini-maintain or bakit mini-maintain ng central bank na favorable ang ating currency sa international market? This is because currency fluctuation has a huge impact to our economy. Okay, ano ang nagiging impact ng currency fluctuation sa economy? One of the most prominent impacts of currency fluctuations can be seen in international trade. Generally, kapag mahina ang ating currency, nag-i-stimulate ito ng export at nagkakaroon ng expensive imports. On the other hand, a strong currency can reduce exports and make imports cheaper. The currency fluctuation has also huge impact to consumer. As what we have mentioned, a weak currency increases the cost of imports and eventually, this cost is borne by the consumer. For example, buying a foreign car might get more expensive if your country's currency depreciates, which means that you might end up paying more money to get an item of the same value. On the other hand, a stable currency allows consumer to buy more. So nakita natin kung gaano ka-challenging ang currency fluctuation, and because of that, it will affect not only the business operations of the international firms but also the consumers and the economy as a whole. Cultural disparity and communication gap is also one of the identified challenges of international market. Cultural disparity is the variation across cultural traits such as knowledge, skills, and belief. Kapag sinabi nating variation, it means dissimilarity. So when the business firms operates in the international market, they need to consider this kind of challenges. It is one of the common problems or challenges na nararanasan ng mga international market dahil iba-iba ang kultura at paniniwala ng iba't ibang bansa. Sometimes, cultural disparity becomes the reason or might be a burden para sa isang company na makapag-capture ng international market. Communication gap is also one of the most common challenges when it comes to managing business in international market. But nowadays, we all know naman that people from different parts of the world can be able to communicate with one another. Now that we have discussed all the challenges of international market, the question is this controllable or meron bang mga ways para ma-overcome ang mga challenges na to? So let us explore now the different ways to overcome these challenges. So we have 3 ways to overcome these challenges. Number 1 is the effective planning and implementation. In every process, we all know that planning is very important. The achievement of goals and objectives most often depend on the plan of the organization. The implementation as well also depends sa kung ano ang plano ng isang business firm. So if the business have no any plan about the identified challenges, then the business will be having a hard time to operate in international market. The number 2 is the proper application of marketing principles. So, international market belongs to marketing. So, kapag ang management ng isang business firm na nag-ooperate sa international market ay naia-apply ng maayos ang marketing principles, it will lead them to success of business operations. Number 3 is the accurate identification, targeting, and decision. It is actually one of the crucial ways na dapat gawin ng isang multinational corporation. First, dapat ay accurate ang identification nila ng iba't ibang aspects ng marketing, and more importantly, they should have an accurate decision for every matter related to their business operations. In that way, they could be able to overcome the identified challenges na dala-dala ng international market. So that is the end of our video presentation. On our next video presentation, we will discuss the goals of global finance. So thank you and God bless everyone.